Okay, see Lindelof videos, sinking funds, part 2. Here, in the first video, we talked about what sinking funds look like. We set up the equation, set up the formula, and we figured out that we can get sinking fund theorem right from future value just by turning something around easily. And hopefully you looked at that video. Now let's actually apply this a little bit to a piece of business. And this piece of business says that we're going to need $800,000 in 5 years. I guess we're replacing a piece of equipment or something. We're going to make equal monthly payments, and we're trying to figure out how much are those payments. And we know that we're getting an interest rate of 6.6% annually compounded monthly. So let's just look at what that would look like for us. We're going to set up our equation that we already worked out, and that is that the payment is the same as future value times the quantity I, where I is periodic interest, over 1 plus same I in number of compounding periods minus 1. So knowing the formula is actually the start of it. This is actually not difficult, I don't think. This is very, very formulaic. So what we're trying to figure out is payment. And when you start something like this, you have to figure out what is it that I'm trying to get. We're trying to figure out what does that payment have to look like. We know that the future value has to be $800,000. So I'm just going to start filling in the blanks. I'm going to write this out a little bit better. 800,000. I know that it's I. Now the question is this: how are we going to figure this out? Because it says 6.6%, so I'm sure that you know that this is 6.6%. However, we have to figure that out, right? Because it's compounded monthly, so we have this as our periodic interest. And this is something that is a little bit new for us that we haven't been doing this way. So if we did that little piece of math, we would get this piece of math equals 0.0055. Yeah, I did that on my calculator, and that's what you should do. And this is 1.0055, right? And remember, n is the number of compounding periods, but we're going to do this in 5 years, right? 5 years. But we're going to do this monthly. So 5 times 12 is that we're going to have 60 equal payments. So again, something to think about. So that's going to be 60 to the right, 60, and then minus 1 there. From here, the whole thing becomes very formulaic, and it's just calculator math. However, if I was asking you this question on an exam, this is what I would want. I'd want to see this proof. I might also want to know how much interest you made, how much interest you receive on that. Then I would just go here, and I'm just going to plug this in, right? And I'm going to take the 800,000, right? 800,000. Do I have 800,000 yet? No, I have 80,000. 800,000, right? And I'm going to do the quantity. And remember, we had 0.0055, right? 55 at the top. At the bottom, we had 1.0055, right? And then brought it to the power of 60. This is really important that you do this correctly. Remember to move your cursor because you don't want 60 minus 1. You want this whole thing minus 1. And it suggests here that we are going to have, oh my God, can you imagine that? We're going to have to make monthly payments of $11,290. So if I ask you how much of the 800,000 would be interest, what you would do is you would say 800,000, right? Did I have right? Minus, right? Minus 60 payments of 11,290.4, right? And they ended up paying us $122,000, $122,576 in interest. So that's really good news, I guess. But can you imagine having to make those payments? This is what it looks like on tests in finance. So I hope you paid close attention. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do. Thanks.